Okay, this is the debriefing video with my mentor teacher, and we're just going to go through what I did, and we're going to hear what we think. So we were doing standard 1, student development, and I can just read you'll see in the lesson plan. The first thing I started off with in my class was a video where we watched about 4 commercials that were directed at children. So they're advertisements directed at children. Gave the kids an example to look at and to see what we're talking about. And it was for cognitive reasons, for visual learning. Anything to add to that? Oh. That's a good way of starting off the class, using commercial, and then they were like fun. The kids were laughing and enjoying the commercials.
Yeah, just before this meeting, we actually just went over the lesson plan again through YouTube.
We watched
we watched reviewing all the parts. So all the criteria was there. We went over the social, cognitive, physical, linguistic parts.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the first part was the cognitive part, a different type of learning where we watched the video, and then after that we got into some group work with tablets. So I split them up into 5 groups. There was 5 questions. Each group did 1 question. There was 3 in each group. There was 3 parts to the question, so that worked out really well. They used the tablets for information. Then we did a group presentation where they presented their answers. And while they were presenting their answers, I was fixing their language, which was a linguistic part to it. So it was a social, and there was a physical aspect too, because when we let them move, I let them move around the classroom to sit, so it would be more effective for their communication.
And something I noticed, just as an observer, was I think student engagement was pretty high for this lesson. They really liked the video. Commercials are something that they deal with every day, even if it's just in English. They love using the iPads, group work, all of that. I think it makes for a pretty effective lesson.
Yeah, it helps with the emotional aspect. It puts it on a higher level. After the group work, we got into a listening exercise where it's just trying to hit all the cognitive parts from visual to audio now, or audible, and that it was just basically listening to 2 opinions, a pro opinion and a con opinion, and then they answered some questions that went accordingly to the listening, and when they were answering again, I was helping with their linguistics, helping with their pronunciation, and now the social aspect is switching and going to individual versus the group, which was beforehand, and there's an emotional aspect as well, which is bringing a competitive element by having them compete for dojo points, and there's steals if the person doesn't get it. And there's some differentiation that happens when I'm doing dojo points. Like you'll see, hopefully in the video, where I give more time for certain students who are at lower levels, and vice versa for the ones that are at higher levels.
And at the end of the lesson, you did an assessment of learning using the exit slips.
Exit slip, yeah.
So how are you going to use those exit slips to transition into your next lesson?
Well, what I liked about the exit slips is they wrote. It surprised me how much they enjoyed the group activity and using the tablets and stuff. I just figured that the group activity wasn't something that they would really thrive upon, but like all of them wrote they loved working with their friends, and that's a good 21st century skill as well. So I think I'm going to start using more group activities.
Yeah, it's a good way. If the class is really responding well to that technique.
They are. And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for the exit slips. I wanted to get into a peer evaluation, but there just wasn't enough time. I use a whole brain method where they switch and they get their red pens and they really critically mark each other. But there wasn't time for that. But that's that's pretty much it.
Okay.
All right.
It was a good lesson, and looking forward to seeing more.
All right, thanks.